Well, what's up, guys? Welcome back. It is August 21st. We are getting into the deep summer months, and it is definitely showing with the momentum that we've been having. Some days are pretty decent. Today we had a nice, decent runner, PTIX, which made a move from about 250 all the way up to $6.20. So, pretty decent move, but it has been hit or miss pretty much for the past couple of weeks. June wasn't too bad, but getting towards the end of July into August now is starting to get a lot like slower momentum, kind of hit or miss. Not really as much parabolic momentum or really hot stocks, more kind of grinding type of price action. So we do need to adjust our strategy and adjust our risk tolerance accordingly due towards the momentum that we're seeing. So the changes I have been making with these slow markets and what I usually do in slow markets, I've been trading now for 5 years, and I noticed in August and September has been the slowest months of every single year, at least in my profit curve, usually either flattening out or even going red. So to minimize going red and kind of keeping consistency on the green side, what I like to do is be a little bit more cautious towards the high end of the range. As you can see in PTIX, it was a strong stock. It was a strong stock because we had a nice upward trend here. Pre-market, we had a little bit of a pre-market pump here. And I haven't been waking up for pre-market. There was a period in June that we had been having really consistent pre-market runners from like literally every day at 7 a.m. We had a stock that went 200 or 300%. And I believe Ross Cameron, that was the time he was pulling in several hundreds of thousands of dollars a week, maybe even $500,000, I think, on some week, I forget. But I know he was raking it in during that time where we kept seeing those 7 a.m. runners. But a couple weeks ago, it shifted back towards now momentum after the open, which is good. I like trading the open mostly because there's more liquidity, as the spreads tends to be a little bit tighter, and you do get a little bit more volatility, and you can also play the halt setups. The halt setup is one of my favorites. You can either trade that towards the up or the downside with the halt, dip and rip strategy, or if it's a really hot market, you can trade the halt strategy with an insta buy. And then also on slow markets, sometimes you got to be a little bit more cautious with the insta buy and kind of waiting more for the prolonged extended dip buy. So yeah, I like the market open because of that, because you kind of get a little bit more opportunities than you do pre-market. But yeah, we kind of been shifting more towards the market open, and now getting into August, it's kind of been a hit or miss. Some days it's really tough to trade, some days it's really slow, but what I've been doing is kind of focusing more on the dips. What I like to do is focus on the dips and stay away from the higher day trades. Staying away from the higher day trades are critical with staying green. In the slow markets, you're going to often find yourself taking less trades, but that is good. That is a good thing. In a slow market, you shouldn't be taking more trades. A beginner trader takes more trades in a slower market because he's trying to force the green. He's trying to force the gains. He's used to being up 100 or 1,000 on the day. Because of the slow market, he's only at $50. And he's going to sit here and he's going to take every single dip or try every single opportunity he can find, trading 300, 400, 500, 1,000 orders on the day on a slow market. And that's not what we want. We want less orders in a slow market, less orders, because the frequency of A and B quality setups are going to be significantly less. And on PTIX, it was a strong stock. It wasn't parabolic by any means. It was a bit of a grinder, and you can tell that the market we're having a lot of resistance in the high of day areas. A lot of resistance on the high of day areas. So that's why I'm very cautious. In the slower markets, like August, September, when we're not seeing consistent parabolic momentum, when it's sort of just kind of like your grinding action, I want to stay away from the upper end of the range. I want to stay away from the upper end of the range and focusing on the dips, focusing on the lower ends, the lower end of the ranges. That's where we're going to profit. That is where we're going to profit. And specifically, I only want to trade. Even today, I walked away. I walked away after we broke out here on PTIX because I knew it was a slower market condition. It was a slower market condition. So I walked away. I only traded the first and second pullback. This area here, first and second pullback, are the most likely parts of the chart that are going to continue higher. But when you get into the third pullback, and when you get into the 5-minute pullback, that's when it starts to get a little bit hairy. So here's your third pullback that failed, breaking down into the 5-minute pullback. How do we know it's a 5-minute pullback? Well, if you look at the 5-minute chart, it pulls back here towards the 5 minutes 9 EMA. So 5-minute pullback, the dip does hold up. I still like to trade the 5-minute pullback dips. You do need to be a little bit more careful on this one because 5-minute dips almost always dip deeper and farther than you anticipate than a 1-minute pullback like in these areas. Even still, on these 1-minute pullbacks are pretty steep. Like this one here, 440 down to 392. Pretty heavy there, but here we had 620 down to 510. So $1.10, and this was about a 50-cent dip. This one also about a 50-cent dip. So 1-minute pullbacks here on PTIX, it's about a 50-cent dip off the highs. But then you get in here to the 5-minute pullback, and now we're looking at even more than double of that 1-minute pullback. We're looking at $1.10 dip off the high. So you got to be a little more patient always on the 5-minute dips. Be a little bit more patient. And we did find a bottom here. And on the 5-minute dips, I like to trade even in a slower market because we can still get a decent bounce off of that area. And we did get a nice decent bounce here off of the whole dollar. Not quite the whole dollar. 5.10, 5.15, all the way up now again to 6. But when you're in a slower market, you also want to be careful of this area, trying to buy the breakout on the 5-minute, off the 5-minute bounce, right in here, off the 5-minute bounce. This is not a good area to buy because we're extended off the low. We're about 15% off the low. The entry is already gone. Now, if you're trading up here, you're buying for breakouts. And what I said before is I like to stay away from the high day trades. I So I stayed away. I would stay away from this setup here, trading for the high day breakout. But if it was a hot market, this would many times it would squeeze through, gap through 620, like teleport into a halt up. It's just not that kind of market. So, with enough experience, you're going to be able to recognize that. The markets where we're in really hot, the really hot markets where you're going to be slamming insta-buy and halt resumptions. You're going to be buying high-day trades like here or up in here. And we're not going to be seeing these rejections like we have been seeing. And you can get really aggressive at the highs. But you have to also recognize the slow markets where you got to be patient, not be chasing these trades up here because they will absolutely wreck you. So I walked away after the second pullback because I know that in this market, the chances of this going even higher are going to be very, very slim, very low, and the chances of me giving back are going to be much higher. So, it could have went to $10. And, maybe I would have a little bit FOMO. But if it did go $10, if it went to $20, if it went to $30, that's great. That's actually good news. Not because I missed it. I'd be a little bit bummed, FOMO, that I missed it. But for the next day, I will have something to anticipate. I can now anticipate maybe a shift in momentum. Because then this would have been the first stock that goes 1,000% parabolic momentum. And that kind of gears you up for the next subsequent days where you can see really hot momentum. So a lot of the times you will miss that first stock that does go parabolic, but that's okay because that will actually give you a lot of edge or insight into the next trading day. So, right now I'm okay with walking away after the first or second pullback and taking my gains off the table, not pushing it too hard. And there will be a stock, I'm sure, again, that's just going to go parabolic without me, and that's completely fine. I can accept that because I'm looking to be consistently green over the long term. That's really all that matters. And that's really the only metric for success in day trading is being consistently green. It doesn't matter how small, consistently in the green over a long period of time. That is the definition, my definition, I think most people's definition of successful day trading. It is not getting a $1 million trade on a small cap stock that goes from 1 to 100 because, that's not going to happen every day. And 99.9% of those days you're going to be red because that stock isn't going to go from 1 to 100. It's going to go from 1 to 5 and back to 50 cents, maybe red on the day. There's this stock may go red on the day. That's how risky these stocks are. And if you look at the daily chart, look at this. If you're trying to hit a home run, look at how many times this rips 200-300% and goes red on the day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. This is probably going to do the same thing today. And that's what shorts are looking at. But if you're looking for a home run, it's not going to happen. It's not going to go to 100. Likely is not going to go to 100. And if you're looking for a $1 million trade to try to get yourself out of poverty, it's not going to happen. So what you need to focus on instead is getting green every single day. It doesn't matter how small. It could be $1, it could be $5, $10, $100, $500. It doesn't matter because it is all relative. Because even if you make $1, that's still equivalent to making $100 in the market. You don't need to do anything different. All you need to do is take bigger share size. So the setup that you take is literally the same thing that you take to make $1, to make $100. It doesn't matter. So that's the good thing. The only thing that matters is staying consistent. Also, making sure that it proves that you're taking the right setups and you're consistently taking the right entries and exiting at your risk level, not holding past your max loss, not trading past your max loss. All those rules, those are really the main things. But yeah, we tend to overcomplicate it so much with day trading. But the more experience that I get, the more that I realize it's just the same things that happen every single day, the same flags, the same dips, the same red to green pattern, the same pop at the open, rejection, and then curl back up for the red to green. That's what we got here on APM. This is the same. I've been looking at this chart. I've seen a chart like this hundreds of times already. I know what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna I feel it in my bones. For what sometimes, yeah, I do. In my bones, I feel in my bones of what's going to happen. And over time, you're gonna actually trust that intuition, and that intuition knows. It's learned intuition, and yeah, it's the same things happen every single day, and it's so simple. You just need to stay in the game long enough to be able to get all of those repetitions, seeing the chart so many times that you just it's just the same. It's the same shit. It's the same pattern. It's the same chart, the same dip, the same breakout, the same red to green, the same halt pattern. It happens over and over and over again. So some people that take 6 months, some people it takes 1 year, some people it takes 2 years, 5 years. I've heard people take up to 10 years of losing money to finally get green. But eventually, your brain does kind of pick up on the patterns. And I don't think these change. I don't think these patterns have changed for decades. I bet you if you look at a chart of a volatile, high-volume stock on the day in the 1920s, during the roaring 20s, 1925, 100 years ago, I bet if you look at a chart, a very volatile, high-volume chart, it's going to be the same patterns as we're looking at now. I guarantee it. These aren't going to change. So, yeah, you really the only thing you can do is just get your experience in, get your screen time in, and get that learned intuition and get the patterns down. So that's my little recap for today. I mean, 8 p.m. See, look at this grindy action, man. This is why I stay away from the highs, man. Stay away from the highs. Trading the dips, looking for red to green patterns, looking off the lows, micro pullbacks. If it's a halt setup, waiting for the prolonged dip, 5-minute dips, but not chasing highs, not taking breakout trades. My first entry is never going to be on like a candle breaking out. I'm always going to be waiting for the dips in this slow market. But who knows? In a month from now, and maybe when October comes around, if we get a stock that just rips straight up into a halt, gaps up, and now we're looking at 300% within the first hour of the open, and just everything's just popping off, then yeah, I'm going to switch gears and go, be trading really aggressive. So, yeah, that's my recap for today. Thanks for joining in and listening. Hope you guys got some value, and I'll see you guys later. All right, peace.